report pulled up, or can I share it?
I do there.
Okay, perfect. So I think the bulk of our update is obviously going to be around phase one of the water improvements project. We don't have anything for on-call engineering in terms of an update this month. In terms of the water improvement project, so La Riviere has requested a notice to proceed date of March 20th, which is actually Monday. So that's, soon, but it also just, part of that too is having this meeting too. It just happens to fall fairly close to it, where we can discuss the schedule and everything that's happened so far. So we have been very busy reviewing all of the submittals. There's been permits circulating. There's been a couple different renditions of the schedule circulating, and we're to a point now where we're really, really close in terms of having everything we need to issue that notice to proceed. And one of the things that we need to discuss with the owner or you guys today is the schedule. So just some background on this. There are some schedule implications, and this was brought up at the pre-construction meeting back in December. The generator lead times currently are 14 months. So the soonest La Riviere can have a generator is December of this year.
And Ben, I want to let you know we do have Paul Loska here in the office with us from T-Law. So if you need to ask questions or anything, you can.
Hey, Paul. Yeah, Paul said he might attend as well. Paul has been working through the schedule, and we've also, been working together on that a little bit, trying to come up with, the best way around these long generator lead times, right? So as the engineer, we don't dictate the contractor's proposed schedule, but we also, want to come up with a plan that is the best for you guys. And Jesse, if you go to that schedule on the second page of this, we can discuss the latest and greatest from La Riviere.
If anybody's going to Rivet State Park, you'll see they're ready to go.
Yes. Yep. So after today, there's a couple things we need to get, a signed notice to proceed and a permit, and we can talk about that under the actual, I would propose we talk about that under your board agenda because those things are on there. But just in terms of our update, where we're at the schedule. So I mentioned that, these long generator lead times and how that implicates, or the implications of that in terms of the work sequencing and the design are, as at the lime kiln booster station, the existing generator for backup power is in the way of the new building. So in a perfect world, La Riviere would be able to move that. We'd have a new generator on site. We'd get it hooked up. We'd have backup power. So in order to proceed with that work, there's a couple different options. We could wait and do all the Dromore booster station next year and be a year out, or we could, and this is what's shown here in this schedule. We can do the Dromore booster station this year, which we would actually recommend just due to unknowns in the market, and I know that you guys and everyone's interested in getting as much of this work done in 2023 as possible. This plan involves moving the existing generator and hooking it out, so out of the way of the new building, hooking it back up so that there's temporary power during construction. And then when the new generator arrives later this year, early next year, we would obviously do the switch. So the catch on this is it is a $40,000 change, and that's because this wasn't shown in the design plans, right? And the lead times were unknown. So, our electrical engineers have reviewed that. We think it's reasonable. This is the route we would recommend. I'd say, if the district is adamant about saving that $40,000, we could look at, and you'd rather do the work next year, that's an option as well. And I'll just throw out the third option before you guys deliberate a little bit amongst yourselves or ask questions, is there could be a no-cost option where the generator is removed and the booster, the existing lime kiln station, remains operational. It just doesn't have backup power. So in the event of a powder outage, you have the water that's in your tank. So that, in our opinion, that just puts some risk on you guys.
Let me ask you this, Ben. This is Bob. If I could ask you this, that is, yes, there is some risk there, but generally in the wintertime, it's not an issue because there's so much water in those tanks, and they only go through 14,000 gallons a day or something like it. It's just, I have a 100,000 gallon tank.
Yep.
So very little. So my question is there even a way with our existing generator to temporarily use that to support Jormore? And again, I didn't look at the power factor because that's where it's more important. If that goes down, the new Jormore station, everybody's going to be out very quick because there's no storage.
So that's a really good question, Bob. And Jesse, if you can just scroll down on the schedule a little bit. So this schedule shows, the pipe work. They have two crews. The pipe work's going and doing all the main line up on Farragut State Park Navy property. At the same time, the building crew is working on the Drillmore booster. So if you scroll to the right, Jesse, the only thing that's left in 2024, Bob, is pump startup, install the generator. So basically what would happen with this plan is the new booster station wouldn't come online actually until next year.
Okay.
So it would, but the work, all of the work, the building would be in, the pumps would be installed, the connections would be made, all of the electrical equipment would be installed, except for the generator. The controls equipment would be installed. So everything would be there. And then when the generator's hooked up, La Riviere we'd go through the pump startup and get that operational at the beginning of next year. So that's what this schedule shows starting, basically a year from, around today.
So I have a question, Paul, this may actually be for you because we've had this happen in another system where, you're waiting for a generator, but because of the additional equipment there, we need a new service desk connector or automatic transfer switch with a higher amp rating. I don't know if that's the case, but Remington's been waiting for 15 months for theirs and it was supposed to be in last December. So I don't know if that's inside of generators, that's an issue. Is that being considered?
I think he told me October for the ATS.
Okay.
So
there is a new ATS. That's pretty good. How long you've only ordered that recently?
Yeah, I think he ordered it in February.
Gosh, that's quick. I won't tell the other board that.
No, it doesn't mean you're going to get it then.
That's exactly that. Yeah.
2.5 years.
Supposed to be 12 months and it's been 15 already. So
yeah, the market's just so wild right now. We have other projects where the pumps are taking over a year to get here.
Yeah.
I may have missed something, but the generator is just an emergency situation.
Yes.
Is it better to hold this stuff off? I mean, it would still operate, except in a case we lost our power, would it not?
Yes, everything is fine. And again, it's primarily as in an emergency. Or, of course, in summertime, we would have less time to do because we need more water. But in the wintertime, it's kind of like the generators only exercise if there's a power outage when they come on with hours. Otherwise, they don't use the fuel.
Right. Yeah. So could we not go ahead and get it all done and
That would be my recommendation because I think $40,000 we're going to be spending a lot more than that if we wait with prices going up and more volatility.
Yeah,
that's nothing compared to what we're doing.
And to piggyback on that, if we don't reconnect the existing generator, the lime kiln station would be without backup power for a year. So it wouldn't just be the winter. If it was a shorter term, maybe we'd recommend that or more seriously consider it. But does that make sense? Like, this plan allows you to retain your backup power for that year duration in order to acquire the new generator and get that installed. And
I see.
It's $40,000 change.
I kept thinking you were adding another generator to this one, you're replacing it. That's right.
Yep, that's correct. Yep, exactly.
We will certainly have a market for this existing generator. I may have some already for you.
Yeah. And the owner will salvage that. So you guys will get the old generator back.
Well, then the reason why there's a market is because it's a year out. The only way you're going to get a generator if you have to have it now is a used one. And they're hard to come by the right size.
How about rentals?
Yeah, in fact, Jesse, we're looking into that. Are we going to address that later on?
Yeah, actually, I have everything filled out, and I just had some questions with you.
Okay, we'll just let Ben know. Ben, we're working out with United Rentals a generator rental for well 8, so that's what Jesse and I were talking about.
Yeah, and I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any questions really on the United Rentals one. It's just the Coleman one I wanted to discuss with you. But yeah, I have the United and ready to go. So.
Okay.
You might want to check with Western States as well.
The only one that done that I found in the area to actually rent them of that size. Well, Critical Power says they don't have anything in that size of stock. They said, that is the way you got to go. They're looking at the standard.
Well, and now for well 8, we run that 1 month and then off the next month. So
No, well, the issue there is that when well 7 is down, when we do the plumbing and whatnot, we don't have a generator then to back up if something should happen. That's why we need to rent a generator for well 8.
That's correct, Bob, and this schedule accounts for that. It actually has, because that generator's 14 months out as well, it has the well 7 work being done in 2024. But well 8, La Riviere could do this year. La Riviere looked at an option for a rental generator at well 8 so that we could bump the well 7. You'll see well 7 over there, bottom right of the schedule. Move that into this year, but it was the costs on that were it was $65,000. It was pretty substantial, and it seemed it's totally up to you guys if that's something La Riviere might be able to revisit, but it felt to us like this is a small enough amount of work to do next year, and that's where La Riviere landed with this schedule.
But if you can clarify, Ben, because I think you asked me to come up with a rental, and so you're saying La Riviere is doing it. So do we need to do it, or are they doing it?
Well, if you want to entertain, and Paul could speak to the fact if the owner provided backup power there, if you're able to do the well 7 work this year.
Okay.
We reached out, Bob, because of that, and also had La Riviere look at a cost.
Okay.
So I don't know what your cost would be, and if you guys are interested in still entertaining that, but it would basically just potentially move that well 7 work up in time frame. Otherwise, it can just be done next year with this proposed schedule and no additional cost.
Well, we have to turn this credit app into the United, and then it'll give us a quote. So
it's probably worth at least getting a quote, and La Riviere already went through that for us as well. That was kind of the next part of my schedule update here, is that we did look at that as well, but opted to keep that work next year. It's up to you guys. Overall, what are your thoughts on that plan for the schedule and Dromore and well 7?
So well 7, that's where you said at the bottom of this Gantt chart, blue line, whatever. What do you call these charts in your office? Do you have a name for them?
It's just a schedule. Microsoft project. It's like Excel.
This is, so we're talking April of next year is well 7, correct?
Yeah.
And now we currently have a backup generator in well 7.
Yes.
We want to move that to well 8. That's what we're talking about.
no, we're not going to move the generator to well 8. We just need to get another generator. We can't move our existing generator. It's not portable.
Anything's portable.
So, on Ben's topic, we went and looked at that option.
Okay.
It would have been cheaper if it was portable, like the one at Limecount.
Right.
But we looked at that and we're like, we don't know how to move that.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was like the one at Drewmore, it would have been a lot cheaper. So we had to go for the rental generator option, which is more expensive.
Right?
Would the park as a subsidiary, would their water tower be, filled in as a?
Not during the summer. We can't handle the kind of water. Their wells aren't big enough. Their tower is, but their well couldn't keep up with that and the park.
Yeah.
Are we talking about not using the park's water now? I thought we were going to talk.
We can but it needs to be before their seasons, before Memorial Day and after Labor Day because of the high demand.
That's before Memorial Day or after Labor Day.
And we're not in that schedule
Yeah.
to do that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so La Riviere is able to complete the well 8 work this year because they can shut that well down due to the fact that 7 actually has backup power. And then the well 7 renovations would just be completed next year after the well 8 generator shows up. We have backup power at well 8 and then can shut down 7 for renovations. So, I think this schedule is a balance of two things. La Riviere is doing the best they can given the material lead times and some of the site constraints due to backup power, right? And then Keller is also keeping in mind that we're at the very beginning of a project and we want to be cognizant of the budget. So, this kind of meets in the middle, if that makes sense, with just a $40,000 change rather than be more substantial if you guys wanted to move, the district wanted to move that well 7 work up, and then we were looking at a rental generator, et cetera. So this kind of meets in the middle, if that makes sense. And it's the schedule we would recommend, but also, if the district is able to get a reasonable cost for backup power and La Riviere is able to move that well 7 work up and you guys pay for backup power temporarily, I think we can discuss that. At this point in terms of, I think we shouldn't hold up getting going on construction of the other improvements, if that makes sense, while some of those details are sorted out.
In agreement with Ben?
Yeah. Ben, I do have, now, besides what's on the screen that everybody else sees here, I got on my computer the engineering report. One of the things I had a question of, unless I'm reading this wrong, is on the date of April. It's number 2.5 on line 24 of the report. 5 days Growmore demo on April 10th of this year. I'm thinking, wait a minute, if this new system isn't ready for a year, we can't demo Growmore. So I'm not sure that's exactly that's referring to something else.
That's the demo of Limco, the retaining wall, getting pressure.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're demoing the booster station at Growmore. That's not going to work. Okay, got it.
You'll see, so that, and Paul, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that, like the demo of the old Dromore booster station really is drain and cut. It's bottom right there, Bob, drain and cut cap to water line tank. That's taking that small Dromore tank offline and that little booster station offline and then turning on the new booster station.
Yeah, so that's next spring. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
No, this is very good to be able to have this, to be able to see that I can refer back to the timeline of things we've got to this point. So good.
Yep. I mean, Paul, did I miss anything, or is that more or less covered?
No, I think you said it perfectly. Yeah.
Okay.
There's just several options, and like you said, we think this one's the best of both worlds. He's in the middle there, and
We may have another option on generator.
You got two.
If you have to check with Idaho Rural Water, a bunch of districts have gone together for equipment sharing.
Oh, like ID warning, that kind of thing. I haven't. I mean,
That might be a good thing, because that wouldn't cost us anything if we can get it.
How long would it take to get a response back from them?
Oh, a day.
Because, yeah, we're